Greetings everyone, this is Danny from harrtravel.com, your Alaska cruise experts, and today I'm on board the beautiful, majestic Princess. We're currently sailing through Glacier Bay National Park. It's something that Princess does an incredible job at. They bring the rangers here on board and they tie that into all their different North to Alaska experiences. Now, Princess does more Alaska than any other cruise line. They've been doing it for nearly 50 years, and we know that if you choose Princess for your Alaska experience, they're gonna absolutely hit it out of the park for you. Now, just behind me, you're gonna see one of the stunning glaciers here in the park. In just a second, we're gonna take you all around the ship and talk about the different Alaska experiences. Now, one that I wanted to throw out right away are the Princess Lodges. They have more and better lodges that are right on the rivers of Alaska than any other cruise line. So when you do that direct to wilderness connection, whether you do the land tour before or after your cruise, Princess is the perfect option for a cruise tour to Alaska. Now let's dig in and see everything that they have to offer. Princess's North to Alaska experience is truly unlike anything in the industry. They bring so much of Alaska right here on board the ship, and then of course they're going to connect you to Alaska with all of the different shore excursions. Now, one of my all-time favorite programs is Puppies in the Piazza. They're going to bring those precious little sled dog puppies here where you can meet them and experience it. Now, yesterday on our particular sailing, they also brought on a storyteller. He happened to be our guide on our excursion. He was absolutely phenomenal. He brought one of the sled dogs on board and just gave a little bit of history. And of course, one of the big highlights of that is meeting the dogs. They have a partnership with Libby Riddles, the first woman to win the Iditarod. She's incredibly dynamic. I've actually met her on board one of my other sailings here with Princess. And because of their tie-in with the Discovery Channel, they also do some phenomenal integration. So they'll work with the Deadliest Catch cruise. Some of them, they'll bring them here on board, or they also have some excursions that tie in with that as well. And with the Animal Planet, they've really taken it to the next level. Now, this isn't just for the kids. They've integrated all that into the Discovery Channel Kids Club experiences that they have and the Animal Planet experiences, but it's all about storytelling. Now, Princess is enrichment. They do an amazing job with the lectures they bring on board. In fact, today with the National Park Service, we started the day in the Princess Theater with a Q&A. They'll do a presentation later. They have several lecturers that are from Alaska or experts as well. Now, one of the favorites in Alaska, in Ketchikan, is the Lumberjack Show. They're going to bring some of the lumberjacks here on board to talk about what it is that they do. It's really something phenomenal, and they do a demonstration actually right here in the Piazza. In addition to that, one of my favorite is Cook Your Catch. So essentially you can head out on a Princess excursion, catch some salmon or halibut. They're going to bring it right back on board the ship and cook it for you, or you can send it home and share it with your friends and family. Now, I'm barely scratching a surface with all of the different experiences, because what Princess's Alaska experience is all about is taking 50 years of history, 50 years of know-how, understanding what their customers want. And what we found is that Alaska is that destination where it's really truly about digging into the enrichment side, understanding what you're seeing, what you're tasting, what you're experiencing, meeting personalities that are over the top. If you choose to live in Alaska, you've got to be a pretty tough person to deal with all of the things that Alaska brings, from weather to light to everything in between. And Princess does a perfect job of folding that all together and making it seamless with your onboard cruise experience. Now, the Princess experience in the glaciers is something truly phenomenal. They have an incredible partnership with the National Park Service. Having been in Alaska for over 50 years, they've done such an incredible job weaving every piece of the experience together. Now, today we're in Glacier Bay. They have more Glacier Bay visits than any of the other cruise lines. And what's so unique about the way they do it is they actually pick the rangers up on the way in. So they're going to go to the ranger station and pick them up. You've got a great schedule here. In fact, I wanted to point out in our rooms last night, they had the Glacier Bay map so that we can follow along. They're doing commentary throughout the ship in the public areas, also on your television. So essentially, we're up here in the Hollywood Conservatory right now, and I've been listening to the rangers. They've been up here giving commentary as we moved all the way up. Now we're at the farthest point into the glacier, actually right here. We're going to head back out and visit several other glaciers. But throughout all of it, you're getting full narration. Now, the rangers are also here for you to talk to. They love answering questions. There's 3 of them on board right now. They're wandering around outside. They just finished the first part of the commentary. Now, they also gave us a timeline, so it's very similar to this, starting at 4:45 with Icy Strait when you want to go to the whale watching, so you can really dig in and see each and every place that we're going to visit. Now, they also had some question and answers, lots and lots of information. Now the experience today started with the morning chat in the theater. So the Rangers actually went into the theater, did a Q&A session. Later this afternoon, they're gonna do a more formal presentation on Glacier Bay. And then starting at 8 this morning, they had commentary. Now this was in all the outdoor public areas, also in the buffet. You can watch it on the TV in your room. So wherever it is that you're on the ship, you can participate in the experience. Now, in addition to it, they're getting a step-by-step of all the different glaciers that we're seeing. Each and every time they've seen wildlife, whether it was a harbor seal or a sea otter like we saw just a few minutes ago, they're pointing those out as well. Now, I just wanted to point out, once again, this is a national park. It was one of our first national parks. It's an absolutely stunning area, incredibly pristine, but it is a very competitive ticket to get for the cruise lines. Now, Princess has invested a ton of money, a ton of energy in the partnership with the U.S. National Park Service, which is why they get to have this. Now, you take this, you combine it with the puppies on board, all the different Princess experiences. It's really unique when it comes to Alaska. So now we're at the Ranger Information Desk. This is open for about 4 hours today, where they're gonna have Q&A. They also have some retail options here as well. Now I wanted to point out that if you do collect your National Parks passport stamps, you can see you can get a new passport if you haven't done that yet, but you can get your stamp here for Glacier Bay because the Rangers can do that for you. Now it's a really cool activity if you haven't done it. My family's done it for years, where every single time we visit a national park, you get the stamp. And so I look back at it with my daughter, and it's kind of a collection of memories, which to me is what a cruise is all about. Now the entire experience is meant to be educational. You're gonna learn all about the different glaciers. Now something unique to Glacier Bay is that in addition to having a lot of glaciers that are receding, they also have glaciers that are growing, because it's that ebb and flow. That's gonna come from the snowpack just up above here. So once again, an interesting fact. In addition to that, you're gonna see a ton of wildlife. So we've seen several different things already. Got to see a bear as we were coming in. You also wanted to point out that they have Goat Watch and Wildlife Watch here on the map. They're pointing out the specific places where you're most likely to see certain types of wildlife. In fact, they mentioned that whales usually are down here, most likely going to see humpback whales, but each and every time we get to an area where you have a high likelihood of seeing wildlife, or of course if the captain or anybody on the bridge sees it, they're going to announce it and make sure that you can check that out. Now, one thing that I did want to point out is that you can experience the full National Park Service narration in your stateroom. So if you turn your TV to the bridge cam, this is under the live television section, it's going to show you what the captain sees. So this is right in front of us right now. It's also going to do the full narration on there. So what I'll do oftentimes is when we start the experience, I'll turn that on, listen to the narration, and then head right outside. So right now we're in a mini suite. It's that perfect way to experience the glaciers. Head on out here. I've got the TV there so I can listen to the narration. I've got my nice cozy blanket. Oh, yeah. Got my coffee right here, and yeah, some pretty beautiful glaciers right in front of me. Cheers. Oh yeah, stunning. Now, two little tips that I wanted to point out is that there's several spots throughout the ship that are perfect for glacier viewing. Of course, the Hollywood Conservancy up towards the front on this particular ship is an incredible spot. The aft behind the buffet is another phenomenal spot as well, because it's outdoors. You can kind of go indoors and outdoors. But all the different spots, they have little bits of food and snacks set up. So right now we're in Bistro Sur La Mer, which has an incredible seating area looking out to the beautiful glaciers today. And it's got an outdoor space just outside because it's got the promenade there as well. Now, in addition to that, you can order a hot chocolate, coffee, whatever it is that you'd like, anywhere on the ship using your medallion. So you can go on the phone, use the app, and you can have your coffee delivered right to where you're sitting outside. Now, for me personally, every time I see one of these, I gotta do my all-time favorite. And I have one of those cookies, maybe two? I think, yeah. Chocolate chip and oatmeal raisin, I think, yeah. Ooh, and the double chocolate chip. Yeah, no, let's do all of them. Can't go wrong here. So you can grab some cookies, thank you so much, get some hot chocolate, head outside, bundle up. Of course, they're gonna have the blankets for you, and just enjoy the beauty that is Alaska. Now, just behind me is the stunning Marjorie Glacier, one of the most photographed spots in all of Alaska, and you can really see why. Now, you'll see all the different ice in the bay here. That's all from calving. We did get to see a bit of calving here today. That's one of those things that you wanna pay attention to. Now, I always get people to ask me which is the best side to be for viewing the glacier, whether it's for the room or when you are watching here on board. And the answer to that is it really doesn't matter. If you're outside, you can head back and forth between the two sides. But the way that they do the visit is you're going to head all the way in. So we've been in here for about an hour now, believe it or not. So they head all the way in. They're going to slowly rotate around so every single room and suite can see that incredible glacier there just behind me. And then they're going to slowly head back out. Now, because Glacier Bay is so massive, this is not the only glacier we're going to see. It's actually one of about a dozen. Now, some of them are a little bit bigger, and this one, of course, at the very end of Glacier Bay is the most notorious, the one that's most well known. But we're going to head down further, and we're actually going to see 2 other massive glaciers and about a dozen other smaller glaciers as we head back out. There's some wildlife viewing areas as well. But for just a second, let's take in that incredible view of the beautiful Marjorie Glacier. Now, one special tip here, if you have chosen the Majestic Princess for your time in Alaska, when you're going through the glaciers and you're experiencing all the majestic beauty that Alaska has to offer, you might want to try out the noodle bar. It's a really nice way to warm up on a cool day, and it's absolutely delicious. Now, a feature unique to the Royal class ships is the Sea Walk. This is actually an area that bows out and is cantilevered off the side of the ship. Now, just above me, there's an incredible viewing area looking out, and then here as well. But what's so cool about this is when you look down, you actually see the ocean down below you. A really awesome place if you're checking out the glaciers. Now, if you're looking for ways to warm up, you could always take advantage of one of these roving coffee stops. They've got a few things that you can add to your coffee, make it a little extra delicious and extra warming, if you know what I mean. In addition to that, they're going to have hot chocolate stations set up throughout. And when you're in the Glacier Bay area itself, you can wander around the decks, have a bit of a warm up. They've got the blankets out, and really just enjoy the spectacular day. Now, your Alaska experience is going to continue in the dining room. We had some incredible king crab legs last night, and what I love is they actually have gone to some of the local businesses here in Alaska, and they partner with them, utilizing their recipes, their fresh ingredients. Of course, that's brought on fresh in Seattle on boarding day, and they'll also source throughout the cruise. But whatever it is that you love about Alaskan food, that incredible seafood to me is what really makes the difference. So you have all the different menu items that you've come to love, but in addition to that, here in Alaska, you're going to have some really special ones that are going to take that experience to the next level. Thank you so much for taking your time with us today and checking out everything that Princess does here in Alaska that really sets them apart and makes this experience so exceptional. Now, when you're ready to book your next Alaska cruise, make sure that you do it right on harrtravel.com. You can take advantage of those interactive deck plans to pick the perfect cruise or cruise tour for you, your friends, family, or group, and get all that Harr Travel insight and service.